You think we'll ever not be friends?
No, we'll always be friends.
A few months ago, I was showing my younger brother some old Spongebob episodes, hoping that he would find them as funny as I did when I was his age. I turned on some season 2 and 3 highlights, thinking nothing of it, and wouldn't you know it, at the end of the day I wound up watching more than 20 11 minutes episodes with him, thoroughly enjoying every single one of them, just like I did as a kid. This rekindling of my Spongebob flame, if you will, has inspired me to work on a list, showcasing the best and worst of one of my favorite shows of all time. Think of the newer episodes what you may, there is no denying that the original 3 seasons of SpongeBob SquarePants are some of the most entertaining Nickelodeon has ever had. So much so in fact that whenever I try to think of the best ones, I always remember some more, and this stream of greatness just never seems to end. However, not every episode was a highlight. During its original 3-season run, there were some minor, almost unnoticeable speed bumps along the way. And let me tell you, pinning those few down was not an easy task. I couldn't possibly ever call a SpongeBob episode downright bad and want to give each one of them its fair share of spotlight. Therefore I decided to go for this rather unusual format of just ranking all of them in one go, from the least entertaining all the way up to my personal favorites. I'm basing these on what I thought were the most memorable, entertaining, smartest, funniest and or impressive, but of course other factors are also contributing to the results. Keep in mind, these picks are nothing more than my personal opinion, and I am very excited to hear what your version of the list would have looked like. Anyway, I'm ready, let's get going. I really don't like this episode. Its plot is weak, none of the characters really shine, and it honestly sort of weakens the whole double episode as a result. I'd imagine a 20-minute Scaredy Pants special or something, working a lot better. This really is the dumbest and unfortunately also unfunniest Patrick has ever been. Seriously, poor SpongeBob.
Oh, that's right, honey. We don't have a son.
Oh yeah.
A 20-minute SpongeBob party with all of the main cast? Sounds a lot cooler in theory than what is shown in the episode. Definitely the worst of all the specials. Having a buzzkill character is fine and all, but it doesn't work all that well when he's just straight up mean. Also, even as a kid I thought that the visual gags in this episode were mostly just distracting. I used to always confuse this Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode with the introduction, which is because both of them are very similar in their structure. 2 old superheroes just want to enjoy their retirement. However, I thought this one was just a teeny bit too uneventful. This is one of the uglier season 1 episodes, which wouldn't be too much of a problem if what is happening was more interesting, but they really don't do a lot with the concept of SpongeBob being sick. Funny jokes, just not all that rewatchable. See, kids, growing up also comes with the realization that, slowly but surely, you are turning into Bubble Bass.
He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time.
And there's the pickles from last time, too!
And there's my car keys.
And there's my childhood. I continue to forget about this one whenever I'm trying to think of all the season 2 episodes. It's one of the more gag-centered episodes, but not one of the most iconic. Can't the trope of characters being mean to other characters just for the sake of being mean just die, please? This episode does have one of the greatest lines of all time though.
Neptune Preserver!
How long can she stay like that?
I don't know.
Sandy's a girl?
Come on, let me show you around, Larry.
This is the episode that started the trend of Mr. Krabs just being overly money hungry at times. He got some really great episodes in the second season, this is not one of them. The last original SpongeBob episode. They really went all in with a loud and resounding Ghosts!
Ghosts!
Toast! Okay, how is this guy not in more episodes? I love him so much. Great characters, not all that exciting first episode to go along with them. Kind of a trend in season 1.
Have you ever noticed salt shakers? I mean, you fill them up every night at closing, and I mean, where does it all go?
Still better than Amy Schumer, am I right? How are SpongeBob and Patrick not on more greatest cartoon couples lists? They have the greatest bromance, and you know it. I'm all for Patchy in special episodes, but here all of his segments were nothing more than filler. And there is no reason for this to be a minute long. I guess the intent behind the episode was to be a final real episode, hence the montage and musical number. However, the actual episode itself is simply not all that entertaining. I'm never sure what I should take away from this one. Don't have fun with fishhooks? Don't trust Mr. Krabs? Don't leave the burgers to Squidward? What's the point? The best episode title to date. This one is full of movie references. Groundhog Day, Full Metal Jacket, Kill Bill. It also has a really good game to go along with it. This marks the second time in this series we see Tom Kenny in the shower, and it's just as good if not better than the first time.
Don't worry, lad. I have total confidence in you. Put it on Neptune!
Man, they really enjoy making Mrs. Puff go insane, don't they? Again, one of the weaker character introductions. However, it's also the birth of... Now, some might say this episode is stereotypical towards rednecks, but they are also very entertaining ones at that. The way Plankton imagines his cousins looking like is really cool too. This guy is such an underappreciated character. But this episode is also the most frustratingly stupid SpongeBob has ever been. I'm Spongebob. Very funny first half. Frustrating second one. Thanks to this episode, we got a Yoshi clone in Battle for Bikini Bottom on the GBA. That's reason enough to like it, I guess. The biggest anime plot twist. A disturbing episode for any 6-year-old.
Dutchman's residence.
I was saying, you and me gotta hang out more. Well, what nights are good for you? Here are the nights that are good for me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I gotta work.
Sandy's song was my ringtone in 5th grade. I was a hip child. Child exploitation, torture porn, but also the prettiest SpongeBob has ever been, so definitely better than Disneyland.
Is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
I'll give him a week.
I'll give him 11 minutes.
Gets me every time. The montage of them catching the jellyfish is fun, but it's just a very mediocre episode otherwise.
Vsauce, Michael here.
Now you look at this hat and tell me with a straight face that SpongeBob didn't know about Christmas back in season 1.
My life is amazing. I've got great friends, a fulfilling job, and a really popular YouTube channel.
Wait a minute. No, you don't.
I command this particular drop of hot sauce to be really, really hot.
Now, what I'm wondering is, did Sandy lie and that sauce wasn't actually spicy, or is she just super immune to hotness? Which would explain her lack of attraction towards SpongeBob.
We're looking for the maniac.
Have you seen this man?
Oh, it's the maniac! Take him away! Take him away!
Kevin, the original dick butt. Sandy's dome looks really cozy in the winter. I just wanna cuddle up in there, make myself comfortable, maybe get a hot chocolate and some nice music and...
See you later,
So are any of you excited for Rampage? I know I am. Don't get me wrong, I like this episode, but I heard the song so many times back in primary school that I just had my share, I guess. Still, a very fun episode. I kinda want to know Squidward's thought process when he was working on this thing. This just might be the most accurate representation of procrastination known to man.
The time.
Also, I adore the visuals in this one. This one goes out to all the fellas in the audience. If you really want to get a lady in the mood, just show us some of these, then some of these, and maybe some of these. You're welcome.
It's a giraffe!
Pearl doesn't appear in enough episodes. The whiny teen trope works quite well with SpongeBob's equally dim-witted antics. If I had to name the single most important thing SpongeBob has taught me, it's...
When in doubt, pinky out.
I used to collect chips in a bottle, and to this day haven't been able to find the SS Fancy. Also, Mr. Krabs having hearts in his eyes instead of dollar signs for once is just a joy to look at.
Meatball, meatball, spaghetti underneath. Ravioli, ravioli, Great Barrier Reef.
Many people don't know this, but this is actually the English version of the Italian ballad Non parlo italiano, assino intelligente. The third Mr. Krabs-centered episode in a row. I'm definitely feeling this one.
Sorry.
I'll admit, this one's a bit of SpongeBob overkill at times, but the ending song is just so damn beautiful. The mere fact that Mr. Krabs' ship is named SS Cheapskate is just perfect.
She made it!
An all-around funny episode. I'm glad they didn't pass off Patrick as a jealous dumbass in the end and went with the heartwarming route. One of the few genuinely great character introductions in this series. This was back when Plankton could both be frightening and have goofy one-liners, not just one or the other.
This is my lab. And this is my laboratory.
This guy does not look like he could beat someone up. He would be better off just piercing them with his stomach, I think. Why? Why haven't we gotten a Patrick Sherlock Holmes spin-off yet? Squidward got his own shorts. I want Starfish Holmes. The book series doesn't count, by the way. Read them and you'll know why.
I'm the last person I would have suspected, but I was looking for me all the time.
Is this the best you could come up with for the title? Okay. So, how come SpongeBob is suddenly this grade A student, even though he didn't once manage to pass his exam before?
As an avid observer of the SpongeBob SquarePants lore, I am insulted.
An episode that only ripens with its and your age. Yes, yes, it's him! I should just make this my #1 pick instead. One day, I'll be rich and famous and buy myself a really expensive astronaut getup to cosplay as Sandy on Halloween.
I'm a pet goldfish in a bowl.
One day.
Who's number 46,853?
Look, it's McDonald's back in October! Squidward does always get the most surreal episodes for some reason. This is my favorite Larry episode. He is still as one-dimensional as ever, but in a fun and not an annoying way, like in Ripped Pants or something. The only episode without dialogue. Rumor has it because the recording equipment broke. Whatever the reason, I find myself on the side of people who really enjoy this short quite a lot.
On strike with SpongeBob forever?
We're not ugly. We just stink.
There's a valuable life lesson in there. Somewhere. How come the snow-related episodes are always some of the best looking? That fireplace looks so cozy, it just makes you want to be there. However dumb Patrick may look like on the outside, he would be an incredible method actor. Hey yo, Pan, where was this episode in your best cartoon foods list, huh? Just look at it. Choosing a favorite original song from SpongeBob would be almost impossible, but this is one of Season 2's best. I used to have a friend in school with whom I would dance around in a circle like that all the time, every day, until it got too annoying for him. Like I said, I was a hip child. Hey look, it's me before my finals. That's me during my finals. And that's me after my finals. Huh.
Vsauce, Michael here.
Not only is this the third character named Larry, but it is also the second snail named Larry? Or is it the same one? Did he get that old this fast? I can't help it. I just love it when they break the fourth wall.
But at least it's warm around the fire.
Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be a...
This is the second episode with Mr. Krabs as a robot, except this time the other characters only think that he actually is. The writers reuse concepts all the time and still do something original with it. Pretty amazing to think about. Why couldn't my school prom have been like this?
Ha, SpongeBob is such a good actor. Haha, he should have his own show. Ha ha ha.
Also, would I be considered an old guy already if I genuinely love bran flakes?
New bran flakes. Bold new taste. Bran flakes.
A vault full of delicious Krabby Patties right in front of me for me to take without anyone stopping me.
Just hook it to my veins!
What are you simpletons
Come on down to the Krusty Krab, home of the delicious Krabby Patty, where we put the customer first and value their honest opinion. The Krusty Krab. I'm loving it and finger-licking fresh.
I don't know why I always forget the name of this one. It has some bloody adorable Pat Bob moments and one of my favorite lines of the show.
That guy got hit in the head with a coconut!
I always loved the vibe this episode has, even though I didn't exactly get the crime/noir references when I was younger.
Wow! Oh my
Dang.
foot! What?
Incredible.
She just put a
Friggin'
rocket up
snassafrasin.
bath! Can't you see I got a
Good grief.
butt hair?
How has Wambo not made it into the actual dictionary yet? What is wrong with you dictionary people? This one does most certainly not hit rock bottom. Okay, what exactly was going on inside Mr. Krabs' head that made him decide to trust the Monopoly type of map to go on a treasure hunt and
I mean, arg, Captain Krabs.
a floating shopping list? I don't even know how you come up with something like that. This episode is like the earliest fan service in the series. SpongeBob and Squidward spending time together, SpongeBob unaware that Squidward thinks it's the last time. This is just a super cool concept. Another awesome concept that has been used to its fullest potential. Also, any episode with Karen in it is infinitely better by default. One of the best season 1 episodes, great quotes, hilarious performances, and also one of the earliest get-togethers of the cast so far. I don't know how you could not like Squidward's dance. This audience has some terrible taste.
My secret TV! And my secret TV channel.
Vsauce, Michael here.
What can be said about this one that hasn't already been said a million times? It's funny, Monty P. Moneybags is a great one-off character, it's basically perfect. Well...
There, now it's art.
This episode not only graced us with one hell of a meta joke, but also with a guest performance by my favorite band of all time. And it's also really damn funny.
Gary!
At 16 minutes, this one certainly has the weirdest runtime to date, but also the perfect amount of patchy. The Flying Dutchman is an awesome character, and this is the ideal episode for his chemistry with SpongeBob and Patrick to shine through. Squidward, you are surrounded by spaghetti. I fail to see how this is bad. This is my brother's favorite episode, and I totally get why. It has some of the most hilarious moments in the series and is also one of the best looking season 3 episodes, which is really saying something. For this one, you can definitely draw some parallels to a Dexter's Lab episode I saw once, but what's especially great about this one is how Squidward is slowly realizing how boring a drab, monotonous day-to-day life can be without a bit of creativity, a subject which another episode coming up shortly touches upon as well. For now, I think this still sums up why I love this episode perfectly.
I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
The OG and my most watched episode. I don't think anyone could have seen the series' success coming from this episode alone, and the characters' models still look a bit clunky, but it sure did one kick-ass job as a pilot episode, with the most iconic musical moment in the series to date. This episode managed to change what we think of when we hear the word imagination forever, and also the tone in which we say it in. The contrast between the childlike fantasy of Spongebob and Patrick and Squidward's inescapable reality is sad yet entertaining. Also, these are some downright hilarious puns, and so is the ending. I know there aren't too many to choose from anyway, but Man Ray is by far my favorite SpongeBob villain. This is an episode focused all around him, and of course it's good. What did you expect?
I'll fake my way through this just like I did in high school.
This episode gave the writers an excuse to get really creative with a chock full of sports references and food-related visual gags, but what I like is that they didn't ignore the competitive aspect of SpongeBob and Patrick. It does get tense, despite it basically just being a montage before the final showdown. But let's be frank, this guy steals the show anyway. This is one of SpongeBob's best specials. The creative execution in showing this Pleistocene underwater landscape is fascinating to look at. Seeing all the characters in their primal state is great, and this 2001 type of moment is also pretty hilarious. Of all of the show's superhero-related episodes, this is by far my favorite. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy's potentials were far higher than what was shown before, but this good guy turned evil sort of deal not only works incredibly well, but also, unlike before, results in them seeming like legitimate partners and friends in the end. Man Ray and the Dirty Bubble are as awesome as ever, and with the addition of SpongeBob and his friends, this superhero get-together would make today's squads incredibly jealous.
Wanna see me run to that mountain and back? You wanna see me do it again?
I absolutely adore this episode's concept. The main character traveling through the supporting cast's dreams, each of which is highlighting their personality with a chance to go in depth into their aspirations and fears. That is just a super cool idea. The creators seem to have liked it as well, at least that would be an explanation for the very similar concept and creature from the Krusty Krab, which is also a really fun game. My favorite dream is probably Squidward's. It's great how even in his dreams he is still so passionate about his art, even if only he can enjoy it. Did I say there aren't too many villains in SpongeBob? Well, he is most certainly the evilest of the few. This guy is a bit of a sore thumb in an otherwise insanely fun and also quotable episode. Boy, this really made me want to eat some...
I love you.
Ah, shoot, wrong clip. Now, where did I... Yeah, that's the one! Whenever an episode is focused entirely on Squidward, Spongebob and Patrick, it is bound to be good. The campfire song was so big on schoolyards around the globe. It made me draw sea bear circles on every camping trip I went on, and I even subscribed to Fake Science Monthly, which, by the way, isn't that just regular science? How on earth does this show manage to make what in the first half is essentially watching someone listen to a bad creepypasta this entertaining? The setup is great, the visual gags are fantastic, and in my opinion this episode also has the best sound editing. The more bad horror movies you watch, the better this episode gets. It's just a fact. Although it was fun back when I didn't know who Nosferatu was and assumed he was a character to be for a later episode. You may have noticed that I often factor quotability into my rating. Well, guess what? This episode has like 5 or so lines I say on a daily basis.
Artist. What just happened? Where's the leak, ma'am? Finland! Hold!
I am
Cosmo.
Destroyer of Evil!
This thing is a comedic goldmine. Even though he is technically a villain, Doodlebob is just a very fun character in my book. Get it? Get it? I may not always give season 1 the credit it deserves, but this episode really knocks it out of all the parks. This is the first time we see Squidward and Spongebob being forced together for the entirety of the episode, and it is every bit as entertaining as you'd hope. The Krusty Krab pizza song pops into my head all the time at the most inappropriate moments, and I don't really have any problems with that. This one features some genuine drama? It bloody SpongeBob? It also has the funniest ending to any episode.
Now take me home.
Are you kidding? We have just enough time to make it back to work!
Work. Oh, my aching tentacles.
Christmas Who is everything a special should be. It features the entirety of the regular cast, has a very unique plot that perfectly adapts to the longer format, the songs are not overdone and only add to the uniqueness, it is funny, it is charming, and most importantly, it stays true to the subject matter. Whatever the holiday season means to you, and whatever traditions may be important to you, this special teaches us that the most important thing is to be there for one another. That we shouldn't laugh at someone or brush off someone's beliefs, but rather find common ground and try to be helpful towards each other. SpongeBob's childlike fascination with Santa also teaches us to be young at heart and try to imagine every once in a while. This episode warms my heart more than any other cartoon, and no Christmas is complete for me without having watched it at least once. If I based this list on cool concepts and inventiveness alone, this one would take the cake, bar none. What is great is also that it works both as an introduction and a celebration of the main cast, without it feeling forced. Whenever someone asks me which SpongeBob episode they should watch first when binging, this is always the one I tell them to watch after the pilot. I love this episode so much. From the biographical information about Mr. Krabs to all the insider knowledge you get about the most popular underwater establishment of all time. If this doesn't make you want to visit Bikini Bottom and finally eat that Krabby Patty, I don't think anything will.
Now let's see how Squidward prepares for his shift. Remember, no employee wants to be a Squidward.
Well, of course Band Geeks is number one, what else would it be? This is not only a perfect SpongeBob episode, this is a perfect TV episode of any show. The setup is quick and poignant, the jokes are on point and none of them fall flat. All the characters' traits get utilized perfectly. The drama, again, is quick and poignant and gets resolved in a perfect way. And did I mention the jokes?
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
It truly baffles my mind how ingenious this episode is. Band Geeks is the epitome of a SpongeBob episode, and the funny thing is, it doesn't even focus on him. This only goes to show what a strong supporting cast the series really has and highlights everything this show has to offer. Animation, voice acting, music and writing wise. Many episodes came before it and even more after it, but when it comes to choosing the one to rule them all, the winner takes all.